in the show. But first, does Joe Biden really have a plan to combat this virus? Because he rode into the White House on this. Joining us now is Congressman Ronny Jackson of Texas. He was also chief medical advisor to former presidents Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming on. I'm still trying to figure this out. He said he has this big plan. What exactly is it?
Well, he's got a plan. It's called the Trump plan. I mean, obviously, they feel like they have to do something. So what they've done is they've taken everything that President Trump has done to combat this virus, and they've relabeled it as the Biden plan. And then they've spread misinformation, which the left seems to have a problem with, when it comes to accusations about the right spreading misinformation. But they've spread misinformation to imply that there was no plan from President Trump and that they came up with this on their own, and now they're bailing us out. And that's really what it's all about. They need this to go on for a few more weeks or potentially a few more months, so that when it passes its normal trajectory and starts, things get much better, which they will because we have a vaccine now and we're going to reach herd immunity sooner than later. They want to be able to step back and go, look, we did this, and they didn't do this. President Trump did this. Right. And many people have forgotten because the press set them up so that they wouldn't know how bold this warp speed program that President Trump put in place was. And he's responsible for developing 4 novel vaccines in less than 10 months. And that normally would have taken well over 10 years. So President Trump has done incredible things to get us out of this. And now President Biden is taking credit for it. It's shameful.
It's amazing that, with absolutely no plan and no infrastructure and nothing done, that somehow we're pumping out a million viruses or a million vaccines a day, and those numbers were happening before January 20th. Let's remind people at home.
No. Rob, that's only happened in the last 5 days since President Biden has become president.
So they want you to think. Absolutely. And now his number actually is changing. He keeps getting asked about it. So now he's saying, well, maybe it's going to be 150 million in 100 days. But as somebody in Congress, have you seen anything coming forward that shows you this dramatic change, this shift? Because, he told us every single day through the campaign, this is all Donald Trump's fault. People are dying because he can't manage this thing. I have the answers. I'm going to shut down the virus. Where are the big changes?
I don't know. The first thing he said when he got in office is, I can't change the trajectory of this virus. You just played that, which is astonishing that he would say that. Yep. And like I said, they're just hypocrites with regards to this. The mask mandate, shutting people down, and then suddenly 5 days into the Biden administration, folks in these blue states, governors and mayors, they're changing the rules, and they're saying people can open back up, that businesses can open up, because they know that, they've pushed the people far. All they needed to do was make sure that Trump didn't get reelected. And phase 1 of taking advantage of this crisis was to make sure that he didn't get reelected. Phase 2 is to continue to take advantage of this crisis so that Biden can get the credit for bailing us out. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Newsom, Whitmer, Bowser, Cuomo, everybody in unison, right all around that January 20th day. Yeah. Suddenly, hey, and it's the middle of January. It's freezing cold. The virus is not, it's just unbelievable to see how ridiculous it is. He's hot on the masks, too. Biden loves talking about the masks. He wants that so much. Here he is talking to a speech to the Council of Mayors. Let's take a listen.
In the next few months, masks, not vaccinations, are the single best defense that we have against COVID-19. Medical experts say that by wearing masks from now until April, we will save more than 50,000 lives. 50,000 lives. We're asking the American people to mask up for the first 100 days.
So I think he talked for months and months and months about this grand plan, and I think the plan was to get into the White House and tell everybody to wear a mask. I think people are already wearing masks. Yeah, it's crazy.
People are already wearing masks, Rob, and that's the big thing about it. There's such hypocrites on this. If I speak on the floor of the House, I will get fined if I don't have a mask on the entire time down there. Yet I want to know why every time we see President Biden speaking, or we see Jen Psaki speaking in the press briefing room just a few feet away from the press pool, they don't have a mask on. He was seen walking around numerous times right after he signed the executive order for the federal mandate on wearing a mask without a mask on. Whenever Jen Psaki was asked about it, she said, well, he was celebrating. I was unaware of the celebration clause or the celebration exception. I'm going to make sure that I use that next time I'm on the floor and somebody mentions that I'm not wearing a mask. I'm just going to tell them that I'm currently celebrating. But, they're such hypocrites the way they approach this.
They are. I mean, there's so much stupid right now. I just can't even believe it. It's crazy to watch. Finally, though, Joe Biden, the president, took questions from reporters today about vaccinations. Let's just take a listen to this back and forth.
I think with the grace of God and the goodwill of the neighbor and the creek not rising, as the old saying goes, I think we may be able to get that to 1.5 million a day rather than 1 million a day.
So, I mean, and this is exactly what we were just talking about. But, I mean, they had this goal, and they just thought that the press was going to cover their butt and not tell people that it had already been met. But once that leaked out, now all of a sudden it's just a new number. Has anything changed?
No, nothing's changed. And you got to ask yourself, who's preparing him for this kind of stuff? Who didn't tell him a few days ago that we're already doing 1 million, right? I mean, now he's got to up it. I mean, he's got to get better advisors on this front. If they've got to put better talking points for him. It scares me what they're actually going to do when they try to execute anything they come up with that they can't even get the talking points right.
I mean, this was the whole campaign. The whole campaign was COVID. Blaming Trump, blaming Republicans for all these people dying. They have nothing else. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's such bad politics. It's amazing to watch.
It is.
All right. Congressman Dr. Ronny Jackson, thank you so much for coming on. Good to talk with you.
Thank you, Rob.
All right.